to those who are saying, oh, like 2025 is not your year, then, like, I'm sorry, but, it is still your year. Just leveraging those first 100 days of 2025 into real, tangible change that you can see. Walking, it doesn't have to be like, super intense cardio workouts. It can be just walking. It can be, biking. One of my old friends, Ren, actually said this while we were, driving into the new year. We're always moving forward. It's kind of my attention that you don't think that 2025 is your year anymore. And whether or not you failed a New Year's resolution, had some shit come up with some friends or an ex, or maybe January wasn't really your best month overall, even though it's only like, the first 4 days of the year. I definitely understand that, but what's gonna happen when you say that 2026 is not your year, and then so that 2027 will be your year, and then 27 is not your year, and then 28 will be your year? What's gonna happen when you say that for every single year, until you die, or something like that? And while like most of these like are a joke, you understand that there's genuinely like some people, including me, who have been like, oh, like, this year not my year, so next year my year. And I think that is a really unhealthy mindset to have, because first of all, when 2024 went bad for me, some parts of it, not all of it, but when it went bad for me, like, I didn't just say, oh, like 2024 wasn't my year. I mean, I definitely said it, but by the end I learned that it was actually my year, because what happened was, like, whether or not it went as expected, I definitely learned a lot, and I definitely like had some new experiences and met some new friends. So while it wasn't what I expected, I didn't grow on Instagram. I still don't have a girlfriend. I could say that 2024 was my year, and same thing goes for 2025. But before I dive further, my name is Aldedo Rosales. I am the host of Anti-Podwise, and tonight I'm joined by my sisters, Squishmallow. It doesn't have a name, but I'm gonna name it Sugi. So I'm joined by my special guest, Suki, and today we're going to talk about New Year's. Today we're going to talk about resolutions, the 100-day challenge that I set up, and more on that later. So, for New Year's, first of all, they say like that, whatever you do at midnight, you do for the rest of the year, and whether that be driving or drinking at the club. I'm actually so glad I didn't go to the club that night, because like, while I missed out on like some dancing and like a new way to count down, I feel like if I was drunk that night, I'm hella superstitious. I feel like I would have been drinking the whole year, and I don't want that, because drinking is bad. But instead I stayed home, and I actually did like what Filipinos always do. So first we scatter coins around the house to make sure that we're rich for the new year. Up next we gather 12 rounds fruits, and we put them on the table to symbolize luck and prosperity, and we also eat grapes. And then at midnight specifically, what I did was I jumped with my 3 siblings on midnight, even though I'm technically an adult and I've stopped growing. But I jumped 12 times at midnight, because Loki being a tall woman is nice, and also because like you're hella fine if you're a tall woman. Like, for any tall women that listen to this podcast, hit me up. But another thing I did was that trend where you time a song, just right, so that it strikes at midnight, and it's usually like a song about like changing and like self-love, or it might just be another song based off a meme or something. But I timed the song end of beginning to midnight, and what I did was I took the words "Remember 24" and I timed it so that "Remember 24" it plays at the last seconds of midnight, not last seconds of midnight, last seconds of the year. And after "Remember 24", it goes up, 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 and then the beat drop specifically at midnight, so that I could start my year right, and kind of just like remembering what happened in 2024 and applying the lessons that I learned in 2024 onto 2025. And so far, I think the biggest lesson that I learned is saying yes. Because before, I used to be scared of, joining clubs at Berkeley, but now I'm in a really, really good club called Open Project, and I think this next semester, I want to try and join more tech clubs like SAS and what is it? Voyager? No, not Voyager. Valley Consulting, or just any consulting club in general. I want to try to join a sorority. My top three choices are Katie Phi, SoPi, and Sigmas is what it's called. And I think one of my other yeses that I want to do this year is speedrun BART. I know that, maybe someone from this podcast might steal my idea and, go on the BART speedrun, but honestly, it doesn't really matter because everyone who's doing a BART speedrun, we're, working together to, make sure, public transit is accessible for all. Like, for me, I really like public transit ever since I came here. I've always been, not open, but, in love with the idea of, walkable cities and car-free streets, if that makes sense. There was actually this kind of little protest about Telegraph Avenue, which is home to a lot of shops at Berkeley, and they talk about kind of repurposing it for public transport and for walking. And I think while it may sound expensive, I do think that's a great idea on paper. I don't know how it'll work out in real life, but it's a great idea on paper. So that's another yes. And another yes that I want to do is travel more, because while I said no to a lot of stuff, including, traveling, I really, really do want to say yes to, not just traveling, but spontaneous adventures in general. Because let's think about it. If if my friend is like, hey, do you want to go to LA with me this weekend or something like that? What's gonna happen when I say I don't have time? And I can excuse it for when I genuinely don't have time, when I'm, if I join a consulting club and let's say, I have to, consult with this, Fortune 500 company, I have to do some work for them to present my deliverable, then, sure, I might not have time. But when I'm free, and when I say I don't have time, that's a problem. So more spontaneous adventures. And in general, I just want to try and say yes to more stuff more, because I feel you gain the most experience from saying yes, and also it encourages you to try to get out of your comfort zone a lot more. And I have been staying out of my comfort zone for the longest time this year, but I think this year, no, not this year, 2024. This year, I want to try and spend as little time in my comfort zone as possible. And one of my old friends, Ren, actually said this while we were, driving into the new year. We're always moving forward, and I want to carry that with me this year all the way up to December 31st, 2025, when I'm already in my sophomore year of college. Oh my god, things are moving so fast. I can't believe I'm already done with my first semester, and I'm really proud of myself. But that's just one of the resolutions that I want to come up with this year. I actually wrote a letter to myself, and instead of resolutions I want to start a podcast or something, I read this book called Atomic Habits, and there's this one section where it's don't come up with goals, come up with identities, because goals are not meant to be met. And then so some of the things that I came up with were, this year I want to be a podcaster. This year I want to be a content creator. This year I want to be healthy. This year I want to be socially aware. This year I want to be strong. This year I want to be a hard worker, team player, tech savvy, and that type of stuff. And I feel like if I set my goals that way, I feel like it's more easier to be motivated, because in essence, every time I do a podcast episode, I'm a podcaster. Every time I post a reel, I'm a content creator. Every time I work hard in Moffat, RIP Moffat, by the way. But every time I work hard in the library on my PSET, then I'm a hard worker. Every time that I help out with a group project, then I am a team builder, or a team player. Every time that I lead something, I'm a leader, and that type of stuff. So it's really just about like, reframing, those goals, into identities. Like, for example, if let's say you want to run a mile each day, you're not just gonna say, oh, like, for this year I want to run a mile each day. Then you're gonna say, for this year I want to be a runner, or a more dedicated runner, or a more fast runner. So it's really, like, again, it's really just about, that shift in, mindset, and a shift in just like communicating what you want to do this year. And speaking of that, there's actually something that I do want to do this year, and one of those goals is to be a more healthy and, socially aware person. And to do that, I set up a challenge. I posted it on the Anti-Podwise Instagram. It's called The First 100 Days. And what the first 100 days is about is just leveraging those first 100 days of 2025 into real tangible change that you can see. You're not just gonna say, hey, I'm going to go to the gym for the rest of the year and then quit during the second week of January. And I get it. I set my resolution to running a mile every day of the year, and then I quit, which really wasn't good for me, if I'm going to be honest. But saying, oh, like, I'm gonna go to the gym, every day of the year and then quit, that's not really healthy, is it? So I kind of like made this challenge, also to keep you guys accountable. And it starts like this. So it starts on easy mode, what I call baby steps. And why I said that is because if you're gonna go to the gym, like, every day of the year, like, you have to start with baby steps. You have to go, at least once a week, then twice a week, then 3 times a week, 4 times a week, 5 times a week, etc., until, you're ready to go every day of the year. So those baby steps include, the 7 base rules that I said when I first posted it. So the first rule is be intentional. So what that means, it's kind of like hard to grasp at first, but being intentional just means knowing why you did the challenge, and also stating your intentions for the day, stating your intentions for eating. For example, I'm gonna eat clean. Stating your intentions for exercise. So say, for example, I want to work on my abs, I want to work on my chest, or I just want to run a mile for my exercise routine. So it's really just about knowing why you did it, because let's be real, if you're just doing it just to do it, you're not gonna succeed. I'm telling you, you're gonna quit the second week of January. I can already sense it. So that's the first rule. The second rule is taking a progress pic every day. So what that looks like is every time I get up in the morning, I change into my gym clothes. I don't go to the gym, but I just take a progress pic every single day, and you don't have to see big changes, but they do have to show your progress. So even if your body stays the same, and it doesn't really matter at this point, because everybody's body is different, and so I'm not asking y'all to be skinny or be fat, or something like that. The choice is yours, but please try to take a progress picture every day, because it really helps. And there's gonna be some change going into the 100-day challenge. And then the third rule, I apologize if I'm out of order, but the third rule is eat clean. So what that looks like is 80% to 80% healthy and 20% indulgent. And what I mean by indulgent is pizza, ice cream, fast food, sugar, pretty much anything that you would normally call unhealthy. while 80% what you call healthy. That might include fruits, that might include vegetables, that might include whole grains, that might include lean meats, protein, etc., etc. Anything not junk food, anything homemade, is the way to go. I know my dad really cooks really good tinola sometimes, and it's really good and it's healthy because it has like chayote in it, because I love chayote. But the third rule, or one of the rules, is eat clean, and then one of the other rules is exercise at least 5 times a week. And why I say that is, it's not like when you're just starting, when you really don't like exercise and you say, oh, I'm gonna exercise every day of the year, like obviously you're gonna quit by at most the end of this month. And I've been there. I said that I was gonna run every day of the year and then I quit. Your goal is just to exercise 5 times a week, and it doesn't matter if you increase the difficulty every 20 days, which I will get into that later, but your goal is to just exercise the first 5 days of the week so you can have more time to rest. And that goes for eating clean too. You can have 1 to 2 cheat meals a week unless you decide, hey, I'm not gonna have any cheat meals, but cheat meals are good every once in a while. But exercising 5 days a week, it could be walking. It doesn't have to be like, super intense cardio workouts. It can be just walking. It can be, biking. What I really suggest is walking while you're talking with a friend. So if you're FaceTiming a friend, maybe like pace around the house for a bit, or, if you want to go outside, you can. Just make sure you're aware of your surroundings. But, like walking as you're calling really, gets your steps in, and it really gives you a chance to, work those legs, even if you don't run. So you can walk, run. Also shopping malls are the best because you literally just like walk, all the way through, and there's basically no time for sitting. You walk from store to store, you buy your stuff, or you just like hang out and walk and talk. It's really one of the best ways of exercise if you're not an exerciser, if you're not a gym rat like me. But that's the rule: 5 days of exercise, 2 days of rest. The other rule is journal every Sunday, because as I said with the progress pic, it's good to measure progress every once in a while, and you can turn up the difficulty. You can, journal every day, journal every 3 days, etc., etc. That goes with the first rule: be intentional. You don't want to say, I did this. You really have to be intentional. Like, say, like, what are you grateful for? What are, 3 things that made you smile today? What are 3 things that made you not smile? What have you learned? What have you not learned? Etc., etc. So, take your time to, really journal that way. And then the next rule is only drink and smoke socially. And I know how hard it is for people that smoke regularly. I do have some friends that smoke weed a lot or drink a lot, and so for this challenge, I'm really encouraging all of us to just limit that to social occasions, like for example the club or sororities, or for block parties, etc., etc. Because it really like helps you maintain that clear mind and the healthy body. And from my experience, not all, but for most people, you do get less brain fog. However, if you're taking medical weed, then stick to that. But if you're just doing weed just for fun, try to limit that to social occasions, because it's also like when you do weed alone, like it's not really that addictive. But then again, like, you're more likely to get addicted if you do it alone, because you have your own. So that's that. And then one of the rules, I don't know, let me look at my phone to make sure that I haven't skipped any rules. So if I go to the Antipod Wise Insta, set a consistent morning and night routine. So whether that be I was about to say sleeping, whether that be doing skincare, whether or not that's praying, reading your Bible, Quran, whatever, whether it's taking a bath, taking a shower, brushing your teeth, as long as your morning and night routine is consistent, then you're basically guaranteed success in this challenge already, because the challenge is all about consistency. And it really does have to be consistent. Like, you do have to show up. You do, like, even if it means dragging yourself to the bathroom every single day, you do have to show up. And I feel like this rule is actually good if you're just starting off with baby steps, because setting a consistent morning and night routine, it really, sets you up for success in other areas that need consistency. For example, going to the gym, making a podcast episode, content creation, studying, working, etc., etc. So it really just set you up for success there. And then my last rule is turn up the difficulty every 20 days. So I pulled up the Anti-Podwise post, and I actually set up a lot of difficulties. So here are the base rules. I already set them already. And then the first chunk is baby steps. So the 1st of January to the 20th of January, we have the base rules. From the 21st of January to the 9th of February, it's on easy mode. And I say easy mode because like the first chunk is baby steps. Like you're just learning how to do it, especially like if you're not a gym rat. And like especially if you fail to resolutions, like it's good to start with baby steps instead of just like going straight in. But the real challenge starts after the 20th of January, and it's on easy mode. So what that means is 1 workout has to be outside and 2 workouts have to be cardio. The second chunk, the third chunk is medium, which is from the 10th of February to the 1st of March. So what that means is you have to journal every 3 days now, and you have to do 2 workouts outside. So still 5 workouts a week, but 2 workouts have to be outside, and that might include running, walking, etc., etc. And then for hard, that goes from the 2nd of March to the 21st of March. So we have 1 more workout added to the schedule for a total of 6 workouts per week. 4 cardio workouts, 3 outside workouts, and then we add a new rule. So 5 pages of nonfiction each day. That is inspired by 75 Soft and 75 Hard and Project 50. And I did those challenges a lot, and while I might have failed those challenges, like it really gave me inspiration to do this challenge because like it involves baby steps. But for hard difficulty, you do have to read 5 pages of nonfiction each day. It can't be fiction, it has to be nonfiction. For example, Atomic Habits. What else? The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, etc., etc. And finally, the last difficulty is Masochist. I named it that way because it is really hard for me to sustain it, but it's still easier than 75 Hard. Because you do have 4 outside workouts and 5 cardio workouts for a total of 6 workouts. So 4 of the 6 have to be outside and 5 of the workouts have to be cardio. But it's still 75 Hard. It's still like you work out every day, 2 workouts, 45 minutes, and 1 of them has to be outside. So if anything, like it's harder if you're doing 75 Soft than if you're doing the first 100 days, but it's still really hard for me to sustain it, which is why I failed. But I did daily journaling, 4 outside workouts, 5 cardio workouts. This one is probably the hardest for me. No fast food, because let's be real, I don't even eat fast food. But sometimes like I give in to the temptation, or I might not have any money to get real food, so I get fast food. But it's still food. But they I don't know, they just put a lot of shit in there, which is why I don't eat it. No fast food and 10 pages of nonfiction. I guess like now that I'm reading it, it should be a little easier since I have a lot of time to prepare it, and also I'm doing baby steps. But those are basically the 5 difficulties to the first 100 days. And you're supposed to increase the difficulty every 20 days. And that's just my difficulty. That's just what I'm going by. But you could make other difficulties that are even harder than what I called it Masochist. But you could make it harder, such as no added sugars. You could make it harder by saying every workout has to be outside, or every workout has to be cardio. The real purpose of this challenge is to like adapt the rules to you, and to make sure what you're doing aligns with what you want to be. So let's say, for example, I want to be a fast runner. Then you're gonna say, okay, so the hard difficulty you have to do, 6 workouts a week, and all of them have to be running. For the masochist difficulty, you can say, oh, like 3 of the workouts have to be speed workouts, and you can include like 1 tempo run in there. You could increase the difficulty even further. If let's say you want to be a more mindful person, you could start the challenge with journal every day, and then you could end the challenge on masochist by saying, oh, you have to write a whole paragraph, 10 pages long or something, although I don't think anyone's gonna do that. But that's basically the first 100 days. And I'm gonna post on my personal Insta, because that's my main content creation page. I'm gonna post regularly on that to keep you guys updated. I am going to start journaling on Sunday, because at the time that this episode is released, it's gonna be Saturday. But I'm gonna start my first journal on Sunday, and I'm gonna read it. And I'm gonna post a reel, and I'm also gonna highlight specific parts of the 100-day challenge. For example, my night routine, my exercise routine, etc., so that you guys can be inspired to complete it. And other than that, I think that's it for the 100-day challenge. I definitely feel like I'm gonna pass it this time, and I have faith that you guys are gonna pass it too. And going back to what I said about 2025, being our year, to those who are saying, oh, 2025 is not your year, then I'm sorry, but it is still your year. It is still everyone's year. And you definitely have some time, because even though I made it 100 days, and even though I said it on certain dates, you really can join me anytime. I just said 100 days because US presidents, they usually make a 100-day promise, and it's kind of like your 100-day promise to improve yourself. But yeah, no, it is still your year, and even if you fail, the most important part is learning to forgive yourself and moving forward. Because as Ren said, you're always moving forward no matter what. And I feel like it's good to at least keep that mindset for the entire 100-day challenge. Even if you don't increase the difficulty, I feel like just doing the 7 base rules is gonna get you so far. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's gonna get you so far if even if you don't go all the way up to masochist difficulty. If you still do the 7 base rules, then that's enough. As I said before, I'm only increasing the difficulty just because it's good to challenge yourself every once in a while. And if you challenge yourself, naturally you're gonna want to stay out of your comfort zone, and every single other area, whether that be joining a consulting club or content creation or working with a brand. You're really gonna get really far if you continue to challenge yourself. But yeah, that is the first 100 days. And yeah, I'm really excited for next semester. I'm really excited for how things are gonna play out. I'm seeing my friend Milani again on the 20th, because I'm not leaving on the 19th anymore, and I'm so sad because I get to spend another day in boring ass Roseville. But I'm really excited to go back to the Bay Area. I'm really excited to go on whole new adventures. I'm really excited to just see what's in store. And even if it doesn't go as expected, it's still gonna be my year, and I hope that you guys are gonna keep this mindset too. And even if you say it as a joke, it's really important to say what you mean. It's really important to keep saying, oh, 2025 is your year. 2025 will be my breakout year. 2025, I'm gonna be that girl or boy or non-binary. 2025, I'm gonna, it's gonna be good. So with that, I want to close off here. It is currently 9:06, and actually, I still have time. When I was recording this episode, this is take 4. I actually dropped and broke the glass on my makeup mirror, so I'm gonna work on buying a new one. I also have to pay off my credit card balance because I can't go into debt and drop my credit score. But yeah, that's it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys enjoyed, go ahead and leave this episode a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in episode 4. Bye.